All right, let's talk about a core skill for any Python programmer: handling files. This is the magic that lets your programs actually remember things long after they've stopped running. Let's just dive right in.
So you've probably had this happen, right? You run a program, maybe it calculates a score or collects some names, and then you run it again and it's all gone, vanished. It's a classic, frustrating problem, and it happens for a really specific reason.
You can think of your computer's memory, its RAM, as a whiteboard. While your program's running, it's busy scribbling all its variables and data on this board. But the second that program closes, or the power cuts out, an invisible hand comes along and wipes the whole board clean. That's volatile memory for you. So clearly, we need something a little more permanent. And that solution, of course, is files. Instead of that temporary whiteboard, we're going to start using a permanent notebook, your computer's hard drive or SSD. By saving our data to a file, we're basically giving our program a long-term memory.
And this whole process of talking to files from inside our code, well, that's called file handling. It's the set of tools Python gives us to, open that notebook, write things down, read what we wrote yesterday, and maybe even tear out a page if we need to.
Okay, but not all notebooks are created equal. In Python, we mostly deal with two kinds of files, and picking the right one is super important. Let's break down the difference between text and binary files. Here's the easiest way to think about it. A text file is like a typed letter. It's made of characters, it's totally human readable, and it's perfect for stuff like your Python code, log files, or simple configs. A binary file, though, that's more like a photograph. It stores the raw data, the actual ones and zeros, exactly how the computer thinks about it. This is way, way more efficient for complex things like JPEGs, MP3s, or compiled programs. And you've probably seen this yourself if you've ever accidentally tried to open an image file in something like Notepad. What do you get? Just a wall of crazy symbols and garbage. That's because you're trying to read a photograph as if it were a typed letter. The formats are just completely different. All right, let's get our hands dirty. For the rest of this explainer, we're going to focus on text files because they're what you'll be using most of the time when you're starting out. And there's a simple three-step dance to working with pretty much any file. First, you got to open the file. That's like getting the key to a vault. Next, you do your thing. Read what's inside or write something new. And then, and this part is absolutely critical, you have to close the file when you're done. Forgetting to do this is like walking away from the vault and leaving the door wide open. It can lead to corrupted data and all sorts of other problems. But, remembering to close the file every single time, especially if your program hits an error somewhere in the middle, it can be a real pain. Luckily, Python has a much, much better way of doing things.
So let me introduce you to the with statement. This thing is like a high-security vault that locks itself. When you use with, Python guarantees that the file will be closed properly for you as soon as you're done. It doesn't matter if an error happens or not. This is hands down the best way to handle files. It's safer, it's cleaner, and you never have to remember to call close again. Now, when you open a file, you have to tell Python what you want to do with it. That's the mode. You've got R for read, A for append, which just adds new stuff to the end. But I really want you to pay attention to W for write. If a file already exists, this mode will completely erase everything in it before writing your new data. It's like a reset button for your file. It's super powerful, but trust me, you need to be careful with it.
Okay, writing simple text to a file is great, but what happens when we need to save something more complicated?
How do you save a whole Python dictionary or a list of custom objects? You can't just write it to a file as a string and hope to get it back later in one piece. For this, we need a much more specialized tool.
And that tool is Python's pickle module. Think of pickling as flash freezing any Python object you have. It turns it into a stream of bytes that you can just dump into a file. Later, you can unpickle it, basically thawing it out, and you get your original object back, perfectly preserved. But a huge word of warning here. Only unpickle files from sources you 100% trust. A malicious pickle file can actually run code on your computer, so it is a very real security risk.
So pickle is great for those weird, complex Python objects. But what if your data has a nice, neat structure? What if it looks like a table or a spreadsheet? I bet you've seen files like this 1,000 times. This is a CSV file, which stands for comma-separated values. It's just a super simple text file format that's perfect for storing data in tables. Every line is a new row, and every value is just separated by a comma. Simple. And creating one of these in Python is ridiculously easy, thanks to the built-in CSV module.
You just import it, open a file, create a writer object, and then you can write your data, which is usually just a list of lists. The module handles all the messy stuff, like putting the commas in the right place, for you. It's fantastic.
So why does any of this really matter? Well, because learning to handle files is like getting a new superpower as a programmer. Seriously.
This isn't just some abstract concept. Saving a player's progress in a video game, logging important events in an app, loading up a configuration file, processing gigantic scientific datasets, all of it, every single thing, relies on the ideas we just talked about. File handling is that essential bridge between your code and actual permanent real-world data.
Think about it. Before this, your code pretty much had the memory of a goldfish. But now you've given it the ability to actually remember things. Your programs can learn, they can store information, and they can build on what they did yesterday.
So, the real question is, for you, now that you know how to make your programs remember, how to make your data last, what are you going to build? What incredible, useful, or just plain fun thing will you create that sticks around? Thanks for tuning in.